Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tokunommentaries. I'm Austin.
And I'm Christian.
And today, we're talking about Ultraman Rising.
Woo! Yeah, it was, that was a movie. It was Netflix.
It was Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Hey, good job, Netflix. Attaboy. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
All right, quick clap.
Okay.
So, I mean, before we get super into the movie,
Patreon.com/Tokunommentaries, where you can see... Yeah, sorry about that. Patreon.com/Tokunommentaries, where you can see the commentary tracks for not just this, but all sorts of other stuff that we've done. We've done the Godzilla Monsterverse, we've done Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Seasons 1 and 2, amongst other things.
bunch of stuff.
And if you join the Kaiju tier, you get an exclusive commentary track every single month. We did Pacific Rim, Pacific Rim Uprising, Rodan, and soon we'll have something very spicy.
Look out for that.
We can't actually tell you the title of it, but it should be up by the time this is up.
By the time this is up, yeah.
What a movie.
We're not going to go into it here. But figure out our thoughts on and what it is if you go to our Patreon and join our Kaiju tier.
Join the Discord. It's in the description below. Come hang out with us, talk about Tokusatsu, all that kind of stuff. Also, real quick, if you join the Kaiju tier, you get a special shout out here on the podcast. We actually have our first Kaiju tier.
Woo!
Swift Bacon Eater.
Swift Bacon Eater! Thank you.
Thank you for helping us out.
Yes.
Also, one last thing. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Yes. It really helps us out a lot.
It helps us out a lot. And just thank you for checking us out.
Yeah, of course.
You ready to get into this?
Yeah.
So, Ultraman Rising.
Mm-hmm.
This is our first Ultraman thing we're doing for the podcast.
Yeah, it's our first Ultraman. I'm trying to get into that. Those guys have been up there for a long time.
Do you wanna talk about
Yeah, I'll just do a quick, just kind of brief rundown of Ultraman.
Because you out of both of us,
I'm definitely the Ultraman, the person who likes Ultraman the most.
Yeah. Like I am the you do your thing and I'll get into my thoughts.
So Ultraman, the Ultraman series first aired in 1966. Oh, there he goes. But
You want me to hold him?
no, it's good.
The
He's
pillar of
scared.
light has fallen.
No, our giant of light. Yeah, Ultraman first came on in 1966. A silly little TV show. We were actually watching that right now as recording this. It's really good. And
Let him speak.
I'm just sitting here. I'm
No,
waiting.
you're looking menacingly and disappointingly into the camera. We know that look.
yeah, Ultraman. I liked the original show, but it is definitely dated, and definitely feels like a 60s sci-fi monster show, and so it's fun. And then it grew from there to doing a bunch of stuff, a bunch of the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, Ultraman is probably in Japan.
Gotta calm myself down saying this.
I think universally we can all agree the big three in terms of like superhero tokusatsu are easily Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman.
Yeah.
But there are positives and negatives to Ultraman. Let's talk about the style of the show before I get into like what it is.
The style of Ultraman, like the original.
Yeah, like what Ultraman is, because it is very different from like your standard Super Sentai and Kamen Rider formula, where they have the heroes on the ground, and then in Sentai they get the big robot and stuff like that. Yeah. Usually in Ultraman they just skip to the big monster fight.
Yeah, I mean there's some like military or human fight against the monster, and then like the formula of the most of the shows is monster appears, people fight monster, people lose against monster, Ultraman shows up. That's 9 of the 10 of the Ultraman episodes is going to be that formula, which does get boring after a while. Yeah. I'll be honest. But I always wanted something different, and that's when we go into Ultraman Rising.
We'll get into
exactly what I wanted. But yeah, that's pretty much what Ultraman's been.
But you like we've talked about it, you know, off the podcast a lot. And we've briefly talked about it, maybe in like the commentary tracks a bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like before meeting me, big Ultraman fan. And then I started like poking holes in like what makes Ultraman not a good franchise, and I think I ruined. I don't think I ruined.
Okay, I definitely had my issues with Ultraman. Those have not changed. Really, since I've met you, I've always been like Ultraman's kind of boring. It's all the same show. For the most part, there are some differences.
Yeah, no.
There's some shows out there that are different, but especially newer ones, they've been better. But older shows, like they're definitely all the same format, which is my issue with Ultraman, was that it's all the same stuff. But I don't know if you've definitely necessarily changed my mind about it, because I think I always had that same.
Okay. Do you want me to just what all have you seen of Ultraman?
I've seen all the or most of the Showa shows. Like the big all the Ultra Brothers. I've seen all the shows for that. Every episode. It was awful. It was definitely a journey. But I've seen some of the newer stuff. I haven't seen a lot. I haven't actually finished a newer show. I've seen just like about 4 or 5 episodes of each one. But and then Heisei I'm kind of iffy on. So like 90s, early 2000s stuff.
You do have a favorite though.
I do have a favorite, and it's actually in the Heisei is Mebius. Ultraman Mebius is my favorite.
What are your thoughts on? Because there was definitely so Ultraman took a break for a little bit, right?
Kinda.
It out of all of the tokusatsu, like the big 3 tokusatsu, it has the longest stretch of not producing like main Ultraman series.
Yeah, definitely like
because it stopped when like in like
probably mid 70s to late 80s was the next big show. I mean, he had some smaller stuff, but definitely was not popular.
Right.
For a while until Ultraman Tiga. So I would say actually after Taro, I would say is like where it stops being popular, and then they did some other shows after, like Leo was. I don't know how popular Leo was. I didn't live in the 70s, but
why not?
Why not? But as I'm seeing by the fan base, people were kind of talking more about after Leo or after Taro, it kind of just falls off, and then nothing really big happens until 94 was Tiga. I don't remember, somewhere around there.
Okay. But there was definitely a big resurgence of Ultraman. Maybe in like the late 2000s to early 2010s.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know, with stuff like
that's when I got into Ultraman. When like Ultraman's not super popular. Definitely back then was not too popular here in the States, so it had to be popular enough to get to me.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is like it's had this huge resurgence. And out of all the tokusatsu you can like from Japan that you can get in the United States, Ultraman is the easiest to get.
Yeah, for sure. The easiest.
I don't know what the deal is with them, but we have dubs.
We have steelbook, Blu-rays
that are really nice, and,
super nice.
Yeah, and I just think that's cool. They're uploaded to YouTube. A lot of their series. Yeah.
Shout Factory has most of the older ones, so any old stuff you can get.
Yeah, which is it is nice, and I wish that Sentai and Kamen Rider also got that same treatment.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But if you are an Ultraman fan, you do eat nice.
Yeah, you're eating well.
Yeah, and I think do you mind if I talk about my history with my beef with
Your
Ultraman?
Beef with Ultraman? Okay, yeah.
I do have beef with Ultraman. Out of all the big 3, Ultraman is easily my least favorite. The issue with Ultraman is that when you're recommending somebody tokusatsu, one of the first questions people ask people is, where do I start?
Yeah.
And for Sentai and Kamen Rider, it's pretty easy. Every series is its own standalone thing. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, everything is standalone, right?
Yeah.
Ultraman, it doesn't feel that way. Especially the newer stuff. It, like, when there's, like, what is it, Trigger, which is a sequel to Tiga, but it isn't, but it is.
Like a spiritual successor.
Yeah, and, like...
But you don't have... I've never seen all of Tiga, and I watched a good amount of Trigger, and I was like, it's not bad. I didn't...
I think
you needed to know a lot about Trigger, about Tiga, but if you knew about Tiga, it makes Trigger better.
And that's my thing. It's like every single series feels like that, especially because of the gimmicks that they use, which are heavily reliant on you knowing about past Ultramen.
Yeah.
And like using nostalgic bait to sell toys and stuff like that. And I understand that. I get it, you know? Like I'm not gonna be like that guy and be like Kamen Rider Sentai doesn't do the same thing. But the thing is that they don't do it as often.
Yeah.
Or they don't do it as like the main gimmick. You know, there are some exceptions. Gokaiger's keys and the not Kiramager's, Zenkaiger's gears and stuff like that.
Like Geo.
Yeah, or Geo for Kamen Rider. Yeah, there are exceptions to that, right? But you're not going to see like a main series do that kind of stuff until Kochard came around. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
The point is, though, is that it really puts this like barrier to entry in, because you have to. It feels like every series you kind of have to know about everything, because a lot of people will want to check out the newer series first, because it's a lot harder to pitch people to watch the older stuff.
Yeah, and when you go into a new series, Blazar was actually pretty good. Like, it didn't have any, as far as like not any major like callbacks to Ultraman.
And don't get me wrong, as an Ultraman fan, I have checked out some Ultraman series, and I've been totally fine. I'm not saying this is like the worst thing about it, but it is.
It is a problem.
Yeah,
it was a problem for a while. I think I've gotten better at it over the past couple years, but definitely like Zet was a really bad one.
Yeah.
Like all of his abilities were basically based on other Ultramen.
And I do like what Arc is doing.
Yeah.
Which is the next Ultraman series.
One coming out.
I do like that they are steering away from like Ultraman stuff, and they're just making Arc centric power-ups. And I love that. I think that's a great idea.
Good.
And yeah. Other than that, the other issue is that tokusatsu as a genre is super formulaic. Anybody will tell you that, right?
It's true.
You know, each series has their own formula to it, but each franchise has its own formula, right? But what makes good like Sentai series is when they mix around with the formula a little bit every once in a while, or what they do to, you know, change things from season to season. And Kamen Rider is the same thing. Fuck, Ultraman does not do that.
It very much hardly ever does.
And it's like, I cannot stand looking at the description for Ultraman series and be like, oh, I like this Ultraman design. I can't wait to see what it is. Oh, it's another military.
Yeah.
Oh, what about this one? Oh, it's another military one.
Yeah. And they can do military stuff right. Like my biggest issue with like the newest series Blazar was that like the first 2 episodes were really cool, because like this guy wasn't like a small team of people. He was part of the military, and he was trying to like hide that he's Ultraman. You know, I think it's a really, because that's never been, it's always just like a small group that he has to hide from. It's not like the entire military, you know? And I think that's really good, but then episode 3 he gets his own little small team, and then it's like, well, now it's just like an old Ultraman show again.
Yeah. Like, and another thing too is that like I come from a background of Sentai and Kamen Rider and stuff like that. So I'm used to bigger groups, or at least maybe 1 or 2 extra people hanging out with, you know, Ultraman kicking ass and stuff like that. Ultraman hardly ever gets like a secondary Ultraman.
Yeah, very rarely.
And so like my favorite series is Rube, because from the start there are 2 Ultraman, and like seeing their dynamic is really fun and stuff like that.
It's very unique, and I like that when they do unique stuff.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I know it's not one of the most popular, one of the best.
I've actually never seen it, so I can't take any opinions on
it. But you know, I enjoyed it. I watched Orb, very cool.
Orb's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I watched a little bit of Trigger, very cool. I was fine with it. It feels like Ultraman is very like stuck inside of its own bubble, and also plays everything too safe.
Yeah.
And it's this weird combination that just puts me off to most of Ultraman.
Yeah.
And also like we've talked about this plenty of times. I'm just not a Showa guy, and unfortunately, most of the Ultraman like values and like how it's structured is still stuck in the.
It's still very Showa.
Yeah, and so.
Yeah. With
some notable exceptions, again, Orb and Rube felt like really refreshing for me, and I was really excited about them.
Ginga, another big.
I've heard that. What else? Geed.
Geed.
Whatever.
Geed.
Whatever.
You say Geed, it's Geed.
Whatever. The point is that like there are exceptions to it.
Yes.
I don't want to put people off and be like, don't watch Ultraman. That's not what I want to do. Please go watch Tokusatsu. That's the number one thing I always want to do. Is like
Yeah.
But,
I mean, even the Ultraman series are formulaic. I mean, there is still some good parts. I mean, if you like an Ultraman suit, if you like his abilities, then watch the show. Like, you'll probably, maybe you don't watch every episode, but watch a few of them. Like, especially if it's like a monster you like or a monster you know is in a series.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch that episode. That's why I did a lot of original Ultraman stuff. Was, oh, I like Gamora as a monster, for example. I'll go watch the Gamora episodes.
Yeah. With that in mind, because there's like, it's super weird. The number one tokusatsu in Japan right now is Kamen Rider. Everybody knows this. It's been that way for about 15 years now. Sentai and Ultraman have been battling it out, kind of duking it with each other to figure out who's number two. Ultraman is super weird because out of all of the other tokusatsu, it has the most spin-off shit too.
Yeah.
There's so much content on YouTube.
Like, on YouTube, there is always a show going on. Whether it be a main show or some kind of weird, like, clip show they do sometimes.
Yeah, and not only that, but
always something.
Like what we're talking about today, Ultraman Rising, there's other things in production. For example, there was the Ultraman Netflix show, which we'll probably get around someday to watching it.
I like it. It's good.
I didn't get to watch it. I've heard good things.
We'll watch it somewhat.
Yeah.
Somewhat, sometime.
But yeah, that's kind of about it, right?
About it, yeah.
You want to get into Rising?
Yeah, I mean, a good segue would be playing it safe. Ultraman's been playing it safe for a really long time, and this movie was not safe.
I wanted to, I've been wanting Ultraman to do something different for a while now. We both have. This was probably what we've been
different.
asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie's trailer kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think anybody was really expecting it at all. Came out like late last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they were like summer this year, and we're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Okay, cool. Sure, Netflix.
Honestly, and watching this movie, I definitely get what they're trying to go for. This is clearly like a reaction from like the success of Into and Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, just like a...
Like, I mean, watching the trailer for this movie, you get that inspiration from, from the get-go.
November 9th, 2023 was when we got the official teaser.
Really?
Yeah, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
So,
and watching this initial trailer, I was pretty worried. I was like, oh, this looks like a stupid kid's movie.
Yeah, it looked like a stupid kid's movie. And I was like, and also, me and you can agree, the Ultraman design, not the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's bad, but it's not for me. I'm not big on it. Ultraman animated has always had like weird proportions.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time he's ever been animated, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of par for the course. Ultraman does weird things, and I don't mind it. Like I get them wanting to do something different with Ultraman's design. You don't get to do that very often, and so I get it. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I don't like how skinny he is.
Yeah, he's very...
Break him in half.
Yeah, he is definitely proportionally awkward looking. But other than that, we really didn't hear anything about the movie until it came out, and no one's really talking about it. And
I didn't hear anything about it too much, and I tried to avoid it as much as I can before we can get him and record it, and I'm happy I did.
So, do you want to just hop into it?
Yeah, we can hop into it.
Do you want to give a number score right now?
We can number score first.
I have mine.
Yeah, I have mine.
You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. 9 out of 10. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. 9 out of 10. Wow. I was not expecting to be higher than me.
I think it should be like an 8.5 out of 10. Can I do a half score?
We already said it.
Okay.
We'll change it back.
It's okay. 8.5 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, this movie was fantastic. It was everything that I wanted from Ultraman, or that I could see this franchise becoming. It was fantastic. It's animation wise.
Animation was beautiful. Oh my goodness, I was not expecting to like be in awe. But like, oh my gosh, this is awesome looking.
There were like certain like moments in it that like they looked like manga panels.
Mhm.
Some of them look like some of them really take some inspiration from Into the Spider-Verse and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm a little like, I don't know.
But Into the Spider-Verse was amazingly animated, so
Yeah,
I don't mind them taking inspiration from that. I would take inspiration from that too.
Music-wise, sound-wise, everything was awesome.
Amazing. I like how they
voice cast did a great job.
No problems there at all.
Which is crazy because it's we watched the dub.
Is it?
It is
in Japanese?
There is, but like the one that's marketed here is supposed to be dubbed.
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to watch it dubbed.
We watched it dubbed.
We watched it dubbed, and honestly, it was awesome. It was great.
Yeah. Honestly, didn't think there wasn't a dub for it because of how good the dub was.
Other than that, just from a technical point of view, this was, I mean, besides Ultraman's design, just tens across the board. This is easily one of the best tokusatsu projects ever done. In terms of like on its technical level, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's beautiful movie.
And yeah, do you want to just like hop into the story and like talk about what
we can talk about the big elephant in the room, which is the child.
So the story is about what's his name? Ken.
Yeah.
And Ken is the son of the original Ultraman?
I don't know if he's meant to be, like, actually the original Ultraman. So that's my only problem with the show is I don't quite understand the history of it because there's definitely things that, like, make it, okay, this is not in the same universe as the original. But it still, like, has things that the original, it does happen in the original, so I'm kind of confused. I don't know if it's Hayata who is the old Ultraman in this one.
But the point is that Ken is the son of the previous main Ultraman.
Yeah.
And his dad retires, gives him the power of Ultraman. This is
either he's born with it or he gives it. They don't really explain how he gets it.
This is kind of one of the other things too is that we can start here. One of my nitpicks.
Yeah.
Is that I wish they just threw in one line, just being like, how, why?
He gave me these powers, or I was born with these powers.
I don't need to know how. I didn't need to know how the dad got his powers.
Yeah.
I could click my mind and be like, it's fine. There's just Ultraman. That's whatever. But it would have been nice to know how Ken got his powers.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Especially because something happens later in the movie that it's obviously not giving his powers.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, because he doesn't have an actual transformation device in this one. He just kind of just turns into Ultraman. Yeah. So it definitely isn't like, hey, here, take my beta capsule. Yeah. And it's not like that. He doesn't have a beta capsule.
So it starts Ken, and he is the Ultraman, right?
New to it. He's new to it.
He's new. And he moves from the United States back to Japan, where he was born from, to join a baseball team and part-time as Ultraman.
Yeah, take over Ultraman because his dad got injured at some point.
Yeah.
So he couldn't do Ultraman anymore.
So, one night during an attack against a monster and escaping from the military, he finds an egg, and it hatches into a baby kaiju, and...
So cute.
He has to take care of it. And
so cute.
Now, when I saw the plot for this, I thought this was the dumbest thing ever.
Oh god.
Fuck, we're gonna have to deal with this stupid kid.
Yeah.
The action's gonna be lame. You know, this is gonna be just a dumb kids movie. Fuck, were we surprised?
We were so wrong.
No, don't get me wrong. It's still very...
It's definitely kid-oriented. Yeah. Yeah, it's a PG movie.
The best way I can describe it is, like, it genuinely does feel like old, like classic Pixar stuff.
I was thinking, like, DreamWorks, yeah.
Yeah, like, it feels like a classic, DreamWorks Pixar animated movie. And with that strong heart.
Yeah. It's definitely, like, towards kids, but...
Anybody can enjoy it.
Go back and watch it, and it'll be a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the story is really just about fuck. There's so many things that this movie is really about, but I guess the main thing is just Ken gearing up and maturing and learning to be a hero, learning to be a better person, right?
Yeah.
Because he wants to. It's not that he doesn't. He's tugged from both sides of being this pro athlete. Because he's supposed to be like one of the baseball player that brings his team.
Yeah, like he is like the star baseball player.
Yeah, he's the star baseball player. But also having to be Ultraman at the same time.
And he doesn't want to be Ultraman. He
doesn't want to
wants
be
to
Ultraman.
focus on his baseball career.
Yeah.
But he knows that he has to be Ultraman because no one else is going to do it, and then the whole thing. That's kind of his whole character growth.
And so, like, having and taking care of this baby kaiju is where he gets a story arc from. And fuck, man, it's done so well.
It's done really well.
I think one of the number one things I could say about this movie is that its pacing is pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
I've been the number one hater on pacing.
Pacing is your biggest issue with shows and movies.
And this has pretty good ones. I would say maybe like the first half is a tiny bit slow.
Yeah.
But like I couldn't think of a scene that needed to be cut out or anything like that. You know, and so I think we both agree, like the first half is pretty like slow or pretty mellow, not slow, but like, you know, lighthearted, goofy stuff. And then like
you get like one or two monster fights, nothing crazy.
Yeah. But then that second half, oh my god, and shit gets crazy. Like it gets so intense, you get hooked into it, and it's done perfectly. And yeah, I mean, this, besides Ken growing into like him being a hero and learning how to be a better person, because Ken's an asshole, right?
Yeah, at the beginning he is just a narcissistic jerk.
Yeah. And you know, he keeps having people talk to him and stuff like that, and like being like, hey, you got to be Ultraman because no one else can be.
Yeah, like,
you know,
survive on our own.
And he's like, I know, but I want to have this double life and stuff like that. But it's hard for him to balance that. And like we watch him break at some point, and it's hard, you know, because like we felt like that. You know, it's a very relatable thing to feel.
Yeah, it is. Like there's a scene where he's like juggling like the child, baseball, and being Ultraman all at the same time, and it's like I want to say it's almost anxiety inducing.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy. Like, you see his anxiety, and they show up really well.
Yeah, and so watching Ken go through this is so satisfying. He's one of my favorite protagonists in like from a superhero show in a bit. I liked him. I know we already said it, but like acting wise, I think everybody did an awesome job. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing really else to say about Ken except like without going into spoilers. He did a great job. You want to talk about the child?
The child.
So, you'll have posted a photo of this child, right?
Yeah. I'll put
a
picture of baby.
We have a picture of baby. So, when you look at this baby, you're like, fuck.
It's a baby.
It's a child.
Another movie about a child for children.
But honestly, it is so cute. It's so endearing. I love watching the relationship between what's her name? Emery?
Emmy, yeah, the baby's name is Emmy.
Emmy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Emmy and Ken, as they grow, as Ken learns to like bond with it and stuff like that, and he himself learns more about himself, and it's this beautiful dance of character development that they do.
Yeah.
And it's done perfectly. And fuck. The baby is so cute.
The baby is so freaking cute. I was not expecting to love this thing.
Yeah, no, I fell in love with it.
I was expecting to hate this thing with all my power.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
It was so cute.
It was so adorable.
Other than that, there was just there's a handful of side characters we can talk about.
There's not a whole lot.
There's the dad. He's around, and I think he provides a good mentor role for him. You could tell that they both have they both have bad history with each other.
Yeah. They had a falling out.
They had a falling out, and it's nice to see them rekindle it, but still understand that there's still more that they need to work on. Because like not everything is wrapped up in a nice bow at the end for the two of them.
Yeah.
They're just on better terms than they were at the beginning of the movie, and I like that. I like how
journey to reconciliation. Yeah,
there's not like a I'm sorry, Dad, and he's like I'm sorry, son. There's nothing like that. They just establish that there's problems. They're gonna work on it, and I love that.
That's good.
There's like a reporter girl.
Can't remember her name.
I don't remember her name either. Again, she's just kind of there to.
She's cute.
She baddie. She's natty though. Oh my god.
Got that long neck.
Dude, okay. Can we talk about, like, okay, listen. All right. Let's talk about the character designs real quick.
Yeah, we can do that really quick.
Look, man.
Uh-oh.
Look, I think the art style is amazing. I think you get invested in the world to where you get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, these people are ugly. Most of the people.
I don't mind it. I think it's just the characters. It's just the design they went, and I don't mind it. Everyone has fun designs; they're all unique.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I would love. I am excited to see more from this world and stuff like that. But what's up with the necks?
They have long necks.
They got long necks.
Not all of them. Old people don't. Old people don't have long necks.
Just the regular adults.
When you get old, your neck shrinks. That's why he's so short.
Oh,
yeah, because it's just his neck.
Makes sense now.
Old people lose their necks.
Yeah, and it kind of goes with the Ultraman thing where everyone's kind of proportionally awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Again, nothing to really draw me out of the movie. It's just more of like a thing I noticed, and I was like, man, that looks weird.
Yeah. But it kind of also explains like the design of Ultraman, that it's supposed to, what's the word? Like mimic the proportions of a host. And so that's why at like flashbacks at the beginning you see like it's just a normal looking Ultraman because it's his dad. He was just a normal looking guy, but then Ken kind of has these weird proportions a little bit
because he's a lot more buff.
Yeah,
and yeah.
I don't mind it. I think it's a cool idea. They've never done it before in Ultraman.
Let's talk about the villain. Spoiler.
Well, he's not really a spoiler. It's at the beginning you find out these people are not really good guys.
Okay, so they work for the main villain. Again, I don't know his name.
I don't know. I'm horrible.
He works for the
Kaiju Defense. KDF.
The
KDF.
The KFC. Kentucky Fried Cajun Kaijus.
Kentucky Fried Kaijus. That's KCK. No.
Cut that out. So, the KFC, right? So they're these they're the military, right?
They're the military.
They're trying to stop kaijus and stuff like that from, attacking stuff like that. Great cause. They're assholes though.
Yeah, they're just dicks about it.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Well, they do have reason.
The main guy has reason.
The main guy has reason, and they are all united under the same cause. That's what he had that speech at the beginning for.
I guess.
So the main villain's backstory is that during a kaiju fight with Ultraman, his wife and daughter were crushed under either a monster or Ultraman.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great plot thing that I don't think we see enough of.
Yeah.
Right? Where somebody has it's kind of like the Avengers or Civil War storyline where somebody has motivation because of like a superhero's like accident, like during superheroing. And so it's really cool seeing this villain that you are sympathetic about. You understand where he's coming from. And like seeing him, he's not doing it out of revenge. He's doing it to protect people from meeting the same fate. And so when he sees Ultraman helping this child, he's like, well, we got to kill Ultraman.
Yeah, well, monsters are bad. Ultraman's helping this monster.
Ultraman bad.
Ultraman bad.
And I get that. It's not like a that's stupid motivation. I think it's very understandable and reasonable. And seeing him, like, there's a lot of like glimpses of like what these people have done to other monsters. We'll get into that during the spoilers.
Yeah,
I think. But I think they did a great job. I think they had great designs, especially the thing at the end.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's go into spoilers. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Please go check out Ultraman.
Watch it.
Shit, what's this thing called?
Rising.
Ultraman Rising on Netflix.
God, 9 out of 10 movie. What's the name of it again?
What's the name of it? Go check it out. We're gonna go into spoilers now.
Yes.
So once you're done, come back. We'll have a chat about that. Sounds good?
Okay.
We're good. Spoilers. Close your ears.
All right. Yeah. Do this.
Do
You
this
have
time.
about
La la
29
la la
minutes left.
la.
Perfect.
I don't have a joke.
Okay. Well, we're getting into the spoilers. We're coming off of the bad guy's motivation. This is the only problem I had with the movie. Kind of major problem is that Ken never meets the main villain.
Yeah, I mean,
So there's not really any development with the main villain's backstory
and connecting it to
and
the
connecting
main.
to him, so he learns, oh, I need to be more careful and like think about these people that I'm fighting for. And I wish that was part of it. And like they were never on screen together except like at the very end but they don't talk, you know. And now that you say that, I completely agree with you. Yeah, that's my only like kind of major issue with the movie is that you don't really get that. But honestly, I don't know. I honestly feel like if that was part of the movie, it would almost be too much because then he's already going through all this character development with the kid, and with being Ultraman, with being a baseball player, being a team player, and then having on stack to that also like, oh, I need to make sure I'm not worried about collateral damage and stuff. I think it was fine they took it out. Yeah. That's why it's still an 8 out of 10 movie to me.
Yeah. And also, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I think we made a joke about it, about giant robot at the end. I was like, oh my god, that jet's gonna turn into a giant robot, isn't it?
Turn into a giant robot. Yeah.
And then at the end, it totally turns
into a giant robot.
It turns into a giant robot, and there's a giant Ultraman fight between it and like him basically piloting this giant. Like, what is it?
Jaeger from Pacific Rim.
Yeah, and it is so sick.
Yeah, the climax of the movie is awesome.
Yeah, honestly, the last 30 minutes of the movie are completely flawless in my opinion.
Yeah, super great.
Like the end of the movie ends with like Ultraman or Ken, his dad, child, all reconciling and like they're all good. They're at their best. The military comes in and blows up their house, basically.
Yeah.
And it's presumed the dad died.
Yeah.
And it's really depressing now. And the child got kidnapped, basically. Kind of, sort of.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Too much to get watch the movie.
But watching Ken realize that he needs to go save this child because he's the only one that can, and him coming to terms with, like, I have to be Ultraman because no one else can, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And, like, it's such a badass moment seeing him go after the kid, and then him fighting against this robot, losing.
Yeah.
And then fucking Ultra Dad.
Ultra Dad.
Ultra Dad. And it was so cool seeing his dad be an Ultraman again. And he's a little guy, too.
Yeah.
He like, rises up, out of the water. He's got a mustache.
He's got his silly little mustache. I think it's silly, but I mean, it's fine. It's fun.
Yeah, it's funny.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I bet diehard fans are like, I would like to use a mustache. Like, whatever.
It's so
whatever. That's kind of fun. Ultraman have had weirder things. Right?
And like, the fight that happens is so beautiful.
So awesome.
Oh, seeing Ultraman or seeing Ken do the.
Yeah, doing the actual like classic rise.
Yeah.
So fun. Absolutely love it. And having like the original music or original like, sound effects with it too. So good. Now also multiple times in this movie going with like original stuff. There's little bits of the original theme in there, which I love theme songs.
There's like a little girl singing
it, and they do a little bits of it throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like when he does his rise, it plays the da-dun da-dun. No. And I'm like, oh, it's so cool. So cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of like nods that you were pointing to me like, oh, I get that reference.
Yeah. Oh, that's a monster from the show.
Yeah.
But I love it too because it's not like nostalgia baiting. It's like, oh, you remember this monster? It's kind of just like little things thrown here, like diehard fans would know. But you enjoyed the movie. You had no idea what half these people are.
No, I didn't. But you know what? There was a little bit of reference to Dino Thunder and Operation.
There was. It was so weird. It's random.
And
Megazords in the background.
Random Megazord toys in the background. Very fun.
We don't mind it. Us Tokusatsu fans, we are.
One thing I want to talk about real quick is that I'm glad they didn't do is that there's the reporter girl, right? She's this very pretty lady. She's a single mom.
Yeah.
Ken and her obviously have some kind of a little bit of chemistry.
Yeah.
I was really happy that they didn't actually go into a romance subplot.
Yes,
God damn it, I would be so upset and it would be so cluttered.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad they did it. They could save it for later, but like for now, I'm
they
glad. They
sprinkled little bits of it in there.
Yeah,
nothing too much. No, it was not a main part of the plot at all.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't a whole lot to talk about this in terms of story wise. It's just a really wholesome found family, regular family story. I don't know what else to say except it was just a really good movie overall.
Yeah, with the Ultraman sticker slapped on it.
With an Ultraman sticker. That was another thing too. Is like I was kind of worried that it felt like it was just like a really wholesome family movie with Ultraman slapped on it. But no, I think it honored the legacy of it. You know, and made something new and refreshing for the Ultraman franchise. I would love to see more Ultraman properties go on to do things like this.
Yeah, this is really what Ultraman needed, like a breath of fresh air. And that's what this really felt like, with a really big breath of fresh air. I want them to do a sequel. I think they totally earned it.
I hope that a sequel of some kind comes out for this. I know you're more hopeful than I am. I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll see.
I hope it does. I really do think that there's a lot to work with, especially because they have a great post-credit scene that we were talking about, where they talk about them maybe going to space.
Ooh.
That'd be fun. Because that was the thing, too, is like I would like to see more lore of Ultraman through this, because there really wasn't.
There wasn't. And that was also like my other minor issue with this. There's just a lot of like backstory elements that I had questions about that never really got answered. That's also why I really want a sequel, because like that gives them an opportunity to answer it.
Yeah. And so I hope if they do a sequel, they go into a little bit more without overwhelming new people as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, this movie's great. Go check it out.
Please do.
You got anything else?
No.
You want to sign out?
Yeah, let's sign out.
Finn, got anything?
How can I have anything? I haven't seen it yet.
How'd you like the movie based on our synopsis of it?
Great.
Good.
That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Yeah.
Good.
And if you want to pay Finn, patreon.com/Tokunommentaries, where you can get the podcast or the commentary tracks for this movie and all the stuff we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
In fact, did we do a clip at the beginning?
No.
No, I didn't.
You want to do it here?
Sure. We can do it at the end. Do a weird...
We're mixing it up.
Mixing it up for you.
Mixing it up. Get fucked. Here's a little clip of the commentary tracks right here. Woo.
The Lorax. That's what it looks like.
God. I was so invested in the movie. I literally were having an actual moment, and you're like, the Lorax! He sings from the trees! Oh shit! Check out the Discord, link in the description below. Join us. Talk about not just Ultraman Rising, but all the other stuff. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for checking us out. Big shout out to Swift Bacon Eater again for supporting us and joining the Kaiju tier. Other than that, next time you will see us doing regular Ultraman.
Might be done by then, yes.
Either regular Ultraman, or we'll tell you stuff that's in the pipeline. Regular Ultraman, the original Ultraman series.
1966.
Mighty Morphin, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2017 Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
That stuff's in the pipeline. Again, one more reminder that other stuff that's in the pipeline is at some point we're going to talk about Go-Go Loser Ranger and Kaiju number 8.
Yes.
And
get into anime.
To get you hyped up for Halloween. Because we're, how many months away? 4 months away?
Really? 4 months?
I know.
Oh my god. Year's going by too fast.
Actually, it's like 3 months because we're at the end of June when we're recording this.
I hate this. Stop it. Ugh.
In October, a very hyped season that I'm excited for. Kamen Rider Amazons.
Woo!
Also, we'll be Gotchard's wrapping up soon, so we'll be...
That'll come out somewhere soon.
That'll come out sometime soon. So, keep you on the pipeline. Got anything else?
No, I think we're good.
Finn, anything else?
We love you.
We do love you.
I like how he spoke for us.
Yeah.
I do love them.
Yeah.
It's like I'm the one that runs all your tech.
I love you more than.
Love me more.
Thank guys.
All right, let's get out of here.